All right, this is my favorite part. Let's try some wine. Right now we are looking at a beautiful rosé from the Catalonia region in Spain.
They are traditionally Basque, really, in nature. Chocolina, when you look at the name, you have no idea how you would say that. Most of us who speak English for a living. Chocolina is the type of wine. They are based on a grape that most of us have never heard of called Hondurabi. And Hondurabi comes in two versions, a white and a red. And this is the Hondurabi red, hence the rosé color. They are generally slightly effervescent and relatively low in alcohol, meant to be consumed young, fresh, bright, and just perfect for this time of year, I think. Cheers. There's some grapefruit on the nose, a little touch of like unsweet or unripe raspberry.
Most definitely say raspberry, yeah.
You see the color's really pretty. It's almost a dark salmon, really. I don't know what you call it. It's sort of pinky more than orangey.
Yeah. Great acidity. I love this wine. Honestly, porch pounder for sure, 110%. I also would do this with most cheeses. I would even enjoy this with something spicy.
I agree. There's a fruity element to this. We've talked about this in the past, the difference between fruit and sweet. But there's a fruity element to this, which I agree with you, lends itself to lightly spicy cuisine, sort of this time of year. Think about a ceviche with mango. Think about a seared crab cake with a tropical fruit and jalapeno salsa. I think would work beautifully with this. You could do a salad with a piece of fish and some fresh berries, a little bit of salty cheese in there to balance. There's lots of ways to go, but I agree, this is a porch pounder. This doesn't require any food. This requires a willing participant is all this requires. Somebody who wants to enjoy a good, slightly fizzy, cool drinking glass of wine.
You get that minerality, that slate finish, that wet rock.
Clean, very clean on the back end.
It is. It just is wonderful. One of a favorite, super favorite.
They also traditionally make a blanc or a white chocolina, which is the white version of Hondurabi. So we carry both of them in the store. They may not always be this brand, but we try and keep a chocolina in stock because we do love them so much and they work so well with our coastal cuisine.
I'm ready for this. I'm excited about this.
I'm excited about this too. We've done Albarino and we keep Albarino in the store, and we traditionally think of Albarino as a Spanish varietal, and it is. It is. But we also tend to forget that you can grow almost anything in California and be successful with it. That's why California has come as far as it's come, as quickly as it's come. There are parts of the world where it has taken 2,000 years to reach the level of quality of production what California has reached in less than 100. Albarino is just a classic. This is Oak Ridge, Oak Farms, Albarino. Oak Farms is a property that was originally, the house was built in 1860 by a man who was a farmer, a very successful farmer, and in this area of Paso. Is where it's now, Paso Robles. It is this particular property is now owned by a family. It's third generation. Moved to the area in 1936. They were immigrants. Third, fourth generation now working the property. These Albarino vines are about 25 or 30 years old, and it's just an interesting take on the grape, because traditionally what we drink out is Spain, and a cooler climate, a shorter growing region, so we get a fuller figure here in the glass because the grapes can grow longer and mature better. Pretty nose.
Yeah, there's good weight. There's definitely good weight to this.
There's
for
definitely
sure.
good weight. You see that nice color, you know. This
Yeah,
is
that's-
unoaked, but it does spend time on the leaves. And if we've talked about this in the past, leaves are the little bits left over after fermentation, mostly dead yeast cells and little bits of stuff that float around. And so instead of putting this on oak, they leave it in contact with all this stuff and they stir it. And what that does is it sort of works like a rock tumbler. It takes the rough edges off. It gives you body and weight and sort of a creaminess without having to use oak.
Yep.
And they've done that with this, and I think you can really, you know.
Yeah. Oh, this is very nice. I'm very surprised. It is not an Albarino from Spain. To me, is a little.
Bigger.
Yeah, and so this is just so nice, and just I want this with oysters. I want this with fish. I want this with anything that you squeeze a lemon on.
Oh, I agree. This is beautiful. This has great weight and depth through the palate. Still lean, still crisp, still bright, but think of unoaked Chardonnay and the weight of it. That's really pretty, really lovely. An unusual take on this grape. I don't know that I've had one like this in the past, and I think it's really an interesting and delicious version.
I am surprised this is out of California. This is really nice.
Right, it's really beautiful,
Great.
beautiful.
It's really good.
Another great one. Particularly, you know, we love Albarinos here at the coast in the summer. Golly, they just work so well. That lean, crisp, mineral-driven, a little citrus. They pair so much with our cuisine. Another one that does not require food. This is very enjoyable right by itself.
Oh yeah. Mineral, yes. Not mineral like this. This one cleansed my palate. For sure, cleansed my palate. And this lingers. This has a much longer finish.
Much longer finish.
Very nice.
This has great depth of flavor. It really does. I'm so happy with this.
Surprised.
This is a 93-point wine enthusiast wine. I mean, it really gets great marks, and it's really beautifully made.
It should. Yeah.
So excited about this. You got to go and experience David. I was not available that day, so I'm real jealous about this. This is David Page Wines out of Oregon. David was a winemaker at Edelstein, very well-known vineyard for many years. Has gone out with a couple of buddies, partners to bought a very interesting and important historic vineyard that they grow a lot of stuff on. And this is their Pinot Blanc, which I'm fascinated by for several reasons. Love Pinot Blanc, but the story behind this particular clone is quite interesting.
Yeah, I did get the chance to meet David Page at a winemaker event, and he is so passionate about making his wines. He is more passionate about making wines appropriately to the grape. He is not interested in it being consistent every year, tasting the same every year. He wants each year to shine however that grape wants to shine, and he tastes and tastes and tastes, and he just it is wonderful to try his wines. It's a treat.
I'm excited about this. Pinot Blanc, for those of you who don't know or aren't familiar with this grape, Pinot Blanc is a naturally occurring mutation of Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir has been known for at least 2,000 years, and so there have been many opportunities for Pinot Blanc to spontaneously exist. Pinot Noir as a grape is relatively genetically unstable, and so it produces mutations pretty regularly. One of the most famous ones is Pinot Grigio, Pinot Gris. That was a naturally occurring mutation of Pinot Noir that has a little bit of color still in the skin. Okay, Pinot Blanc is a version that has no color left in the skin. This particular iteration of Pinot Blanc, they think, they're not sure, but they're 85% sure, is a version that spontaneously occurred in Burgundy in the 1930s.
Oh, wow.
And it's actually named for the man whose vineyard it was in. And in Burgundy, they actually refer to this not as Pinot Blanc, but as Pinot Gouges, G-O-U-G-E-S, because it's so different than most Pinot Blancs. It's very rare. There's very little Pinot Gouges out there.
Okay.
David and his partners bought this property. The original vines that were smuggled into, they think were smuggled into Oregon, because you can't just bring grapes in because they carry pests and diseases. They were smuggled in, they were planted, and a vineyard was created, and then it was torn out in 2006 by some people who bought it, but not before a local man rescued some cuttings and propagated it from them and created another vineyard, which David and his partners now own. And that's where this comes from. So there's no guarantee, but he actually had a member of the Gouges family taste his grapes, and she said, I'm pretty sure that's the same thing.
Oh,
so anyway, there you go. That's the neat story.
So it's got a very interesting nose, very different from the Albarino. And it's a different animal altogether.
The fruit's quite different. This has more wannabe tropical, right? Unripe pineapple, unripe mango, not as much citrus driven, right?
Yep, I was gonna say pink mango, yeah.
A little rounder on the palate, a little oilier, if you will, right? And that's typical, right? Pinot Blanc is a great thought of where it's most common, which is northern Italy, Alsace, some in Austria, where it really is a major player, as sort of a cool climate alternative to Chardonnay in weight and what it will produce. If you put Pinot Blanc on oak, you can get a big fat, full, buttery style but by itself like this, which is basically unoaked, you still can feel that weight, right? You can feel that on the palate, and that's why for people who are Chard drinkers and looking for something else, I often suggest a Pinot Blanc. It's not going to be as oaky, but it's going to have weight. It's going to have its coating in the mouth, you know.
And it has, for me, like a white pepper finish on my tongue. It's begging for charcuterie in my mind. I mean, I think it would cut through that fat of some really good prosciutto, some really good, some of the salamis that we have.
Well, I agree.
Like I just think, but at the same time, like a fatty cheese would be so good. A
fatty cheese with this. I'd love a chicken with cream sauce. A chicken with Dijon cream would be, you know, a little mustard cream would be lovely with this. You can even do pork, the other white meat. I do a pork tenderloin with a mustard cream. Would be delicious with that. But it's beautiful. His wines are exceptional. He does a beautiful job. He's so passionate about what he does. It shows in every glass. It really does. This is a great way. This is a super summer, year-round really drinker. Great food wine.
Oh yeah. Shrimp pizza.
Shrimp pizza, yummy all day long.
Spinach.
Oh yeah,
that would be so good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
Yummy.
this is a fun one. This is
There you go. Yet again, delicious.
I know.
All right, last wine. So I did this just because I love it. It's an interesting product and a little bit different. Familiar in some ways, but different in others. So this is Domaine Champierre, so French. And this is what's known as a Lirac, so L-I-R-A-C. Lirac is an appellation or a region of wine production in the southern Rhone Valley of France. It is across the Rhone River from its much more famous big cousin, brother, Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Very near the city of Avignon, which is famous throughout history as the seat of the Pope. When there was a schism in the Catholic Church in the 13th century, the Pope left Italy and went to France. That's where he set up the papacy, hence the name Châteauneuf-du-Pape. Lirac has been an appellation. They've been growing grapes there for a couple thousand years. Appellation didn't exist until the early 1900s. It produces red, white, and rosé, and the grapes predominantly there are traditional Rhone varietals, so Grenache and Syrah and Mourvedre and Cinsault and so on and so forth. But this is a lovely blend of Grenache and Syrah.
Very excited about this. Châteauneuf-du-Pape is probably one of my favorite regions and wines. I like both the Blanc and the red. And I'm very excited for this.
So I love this because we don't see a lot of Lirac, and Châteauneuf-du-Papes have gotten to be, they're not inexpensive wines to purchase. We can get Côte de Rhônes all day long, and they're lovely, and things I really enjoy drinking. But Liracs sort of are closer in style to what we find from Châteauneuf-du-Pape at generally a fraction of the price point. So cheers.
Cheers.
A little red.
And this has great color.
Oh yeah.
And
you can see that.
It is almost purpley.
It is very purple, very classic purple with a great purple rim. This is a 2022 It's a production here. Champierre is family owned and operated. The family's been in the wine business for eons, basically forever. It is a brother and sister who run the property now, and they produce a variety of things. Lirac, they produce Tavels, which are traditionally rosés, some of the great rosés in the world, and some whites, and some declassified that are just cooked rums. So they produce a whole variety of stuff at their family property.
Oh, this is. Oh, those tannins are so nice. That's a good structure.
The tannins are nice. There is structure to this. I picked this because summer means grill season, right? We like to grill whatever we can. Let's not heat the kitchen up. Let's keep it outside. The vegetables coming out of the garden. Maybe it's fish you went out and caught. This lends itself to grilled flavor profiles, right? Yes. So anything from a grilled tuna steak.
Yes.
A pepper seared grilled tuna steak. Yep. A piece of beef, a pork chop. Grilled portobello mushrooms, a char on your grilled zucchini and squash and roasted red peppers to go with a drizzle of balsamic glaze, or a little vinaigrette, olives, an olive compote, an olive medley. Works
I
well with
would
this.
char grill those oysters and put that mignonette sauce on it with that little red wine.
Oh, I certainly think you could all day long. Absolutely. Yeah. So although structured, and it does have a tannic structure to this. This is a wine that works in the heat of the summer. You can enjoy this. You can chill this a touch. This would love 60, 65 degrees.
Excellent.
Right?
Okay, I was going to ask.
So throw it in your refrigerator for 15 minutes before you want to drink it, right? Just 15 minutes. We're just bringing it down. We don't want it refrigerator cold, right? You just want to take it down off that stifling heat. Most of us do not keep our houses at 62 degrees. Some of us do. Some of us are, where we need it to be cooler. But it's just a lovely red. It's full-figured. This is a red that almost anybody can enjoy. Those big cab drinkers can enjoy a glass of this. Those Pinot drinkers can probably enjoy a glass of this. A Chianti drinker will enjoy a glass of this. It's a multi-purpose style of red wine that we just don't see a lot of, and I love to be able to turn people on to this.
This is a treat. This is, thank you.
And not expensive. This is a very affordable, beautiful imported glass of red wine, for sure.